Hey everyone, happy Monday and welcome to English 270, Literature for Children. It is spring quarter 2025. My name is Amber Lemire and I'm going to be your instructor this quarter. You guys can call me Amber. You'll learn more about me in our first assignment for the week. So right now I want to dive in and get you orientated with the course. So first thing, this class is taught entirely online. I always like to begin by encouraging students to get the lay of the land. Like if I was welcoming you into a home or a classroom or a space, I would point out where the bathrooms are, where you could grab a drink of water, where you could sit and make yourself comfortable. When I was an online learner in my early college experience, I always did that right when I opened up a class. I just clicked on everything and tried to see like what's behind this door, what's behind that door. I don't want something to pop out and surprise me later. So it's just helpful to kind of set you up for success in an online learning environment. The good news is, if you're watching this video, you've landed on one of the most important spaces or places inside of this learning environment. Either you're on the homepage for our class and you're looking at like a Padlet board. It's kind of like a social media space where you can put like a post at the top. It has a stream to it. Or you found this in the to-do list calendar on the right. There are lots of ways to get here, but as long as you can get here at the start of every week, that's going to be your number one success tip, because I am going to provide most often a video check-in. Sometimes that check-in will explain and clarify something that happened last week. It'll update you on where I'm at with grades and comments. Other times it will include lecture content or material, like clarifying, again, maybe something that happened last week, or bracing you and giving you foundational information for the week ahead. I'll also, at times, talk through things that I'm hearing via email that people are struggling with or want more support with. So check in with these videos every week. Typically, almost all quarter long, it'll be Mondays by noon. So by noon, I am guaranteeing, barring circumstances, that you'll hear from me on this page and you'll get a weekly update. One week this quarter, we start the week on a Tuesday. I can't remember which holiday that is, but we have Monday off. So you'll get the video or a GIF or something to kind of set the tone for the week. And then below that, I'll write up a little blurb, and then I'll say, this is the workflow, or here is the workflow for the week. And it'll always be the same. It'll always say, here's the workflow for the week. Do Tuesday, bullet, link to the places where you're going to do that work. Do Thursday, same thing, bullets and links, breaking it down. Do Sunday. You don't always have something due on those exact days, but if there's something due in this course, it's going to be due on a Tuesday, a Thursday, or a Sunday. More on that a little bit later. Also with this update space, give a little like or a heart when you watch it. I don't require that, but it gives me an indication of, okay, I've got like most of the class has seen, not that you actually like it, but like you've seen the update from me, and I know that there are beating hearts out there participating in this online learning environment. At the very bottom of that weekly post, there's a chance for you to comment as well. So what I get there is usually, is this date correct? Or, hey, Amber, that link is broken. Or, oh, I like that book too. Just, it can be casual, it can be formal. The main thing to note is that if you comment there, it's public to the whole group. And also it doesn't include your name. So in the past, sometimes I've received a message there that says, I completed that assignment. Will you please look at it? I don't know who posted that comment. And also that's more something like, send me an email, which again, we'll talk about in a little bit. But that is what these homepage updates are all about. Right below, like at the very, very bottom of this update space, there's a link and it says that you can get to the quarterly workflows. So most students, anecdotally, appreciate just like bite size. They just want the weekly update. What do I have to do this week? Maybe a tiny sneak peek to the week ahead. But some students really find it helpful to know, no, I want to know what we're doing all 10 weeks. And I have that for you. That is where I pull from. I copy and paste from that weekly or from that quarterly space every week. I add my blurbs and my video. And also those updates end up in the calendar too. So it's all the same language in multiple places. That way you guys can decide individually what provides you with the most sense of security and the ability to plan and get the big picture. I guarantee the binding accuracy of the weekly update. The quarterly sometimes has to change due to weather or other unforeseen circumstances. So try not to work too far ahead thinking that those are guaranteed dates and details, but they're there for you to get the general sense. I rarely need to shift anything but something tiny every quarter. So like I already said, I try to put the same information in multiple places, depending on how you like to use things. This is on our homepage in Canvas, these updates. It's also in the modules at the top of every section. There's a link to weekly updates. It's also in the calendar, which means that it's on the to-do list. And one more thing that I want to say before we move on with that is that find what works for you. But also with this Tuesday, Thursday, Sunday rhythm we have for the class, that might not work for you. So I want you to think ahead as early on in the quarter as you can about your own schedule, your own obligations. You know, for instance, I take my son to forest school on Tuesdays and Thursdays. So if I was in a class that had Tuesday, Thursday deadlines, that might be a little bit, it might produce a little anxiety for me of, oh, that's not the perfect fit. So what I would do is I would sit down and I would write for myself a calendar where I finish the coursework on Monday and Wednesday and Sunday, because that's what works for me. A little later, I'll talk about flexibility, but I want you guys thinking ahead to see if you can come up with a calendar that suits you and fits your life rhythm, because every single one of you has completely different obligations, responsibilities, and calendars, and I try to make my policies support you in those differences. So many student learners online just like modules. And if you click on modules on the left-hand side, you will find all of the assignments for the quarter. This quarter, I think I'm publishing ahead of time almost everything except for like some final pieces, like a final evaluation of the course. And I go back to what I said earlier. I don't want you to get too far ahead because I might make improvements or adjustments. The week that we're in and the week ahead is pretty safe. Once you go 3 or 4 weeks ahead, then you're getting into my territory where I'm probably trying to develop things a little bit more, take the comments from last quarter students, make things more clear, make them more engaging. So just check in with me if you're getting too far ahead. But you'll see there that this course consists of 9 levels and 5 quests. That is the entirety of the course. Those are what our assignments are called. And they're really focused around the learning outcomes that are in the syllabus, which we're getting into next. So as with most online courses, college courses, it's week 1. Let's read the course syllabus. My course syllabus is a live Google document, which means that as you move through it, you can actually highlight sections in it and type a Google comment on the right-hand side if you have a question. I feel like students in the past used that and probably asked most of the questions because I don't get them anymore. But you guys are encouraged. If there's something, definitely put your name out there, leave your note, and let me know how I can help out or clarify. Speaking of helping out and clarifying, on the left-hand side is Amber's Zoom room. And so that's a space where you guys can meet with me virtually if needed. It's always available to you, but set up an appointment. How could you do that? Well, I'm available typically Monday through Friday, 9 to 4. I have some barriers on restrictions on my time. I have class on Tuesday afternoons. I commute for an activity on Thursday afternoons and work remotely. But the point is, send an email Let me know what your schedule is, even if it's an evening or a weekend. If we're in a situation where you really need support in order to be able to move forward and succeed in the course, I want to hear from you. I want to be given the option to be able to make that meeting happen so that we can get you back on track and get you what you need in order to earn a passing grade for this course and keep moving you along toward graduating or achieving whatever your goals are personally and academically. So reach out, set up appointments. If you want to meet in person, my office is Applied Arts Building, room 147, but I'm open to meeting in the library, the student center, in one of the commons spaces. We have lots of options for places where we can connect. If you'd like to connect with each other, if you have a note of encouragement or a question to ask someone and you don't want to do that on the discussion board, then please use the People tab to the left, which will help you figure out how you can email or message one of your peers. Obviously, use that wisely and respectfully, and just ensure that you are creating a supportive space for each other to learn and connect and grow. Other resources on the left-hand side are library and tutoring, or no, there's not. If you need help connecting with the library or tutoring, let me know, but typically students in this course don't utilize those resources because you'll see. But this is a really fun class, and my goal is always to prep every one of you up to be able to succeed and do well in it, and that's usually what happens. Lastly is grades, the grades tab. So those are available to you on the left-hand side, and they're going to look different than any class that you've taken. And we can make a little wager on that if you don't believe me. I can guarantee you, I'll give you some kind of prize if I'm wrong, that your grades will look different in this class than any other class on campus. All right, let's drill down into this week. What is going on this week? So first of all, here is the workflow. Due Thursday, share an original post for Level 1 Getting Started. That's a place for you to introduce yourself. That's where you're going to learn more about me, and even share a picture. It's not required, but I encourage you guys to dig back into the old photos and see if you can find a picture of you as a little person, as a young one, because this course is about reading to children. So let's try to remember what that experience was like of having that mindset of being a child. Just makes it a little bit more fun to step back in time. Also, as you're setting up that initial discussion post, I'm going to have you fill out the required books survey. This is the only class that I teach where I have required books, and I know that it's a process and it's really difficult sometimes for students to get all of that in order. I like to help if I can. So that survey is only meant to find out who needs some help, who doesn't have something, might need some extra support. So go ahead and fill that out. Nothing is due again until Sunday, but be working ahead because of what's to come. First, you're going to reply to each other in your bios, welcome each other, create a supportive space, create an energized space for learning. That's pretty straightforward, but you're also going to post an original post for Level 2, Survey of Literary History, and that does require you to start actually doing the learning for this course. Reading from the textbook, The History of Children's Literature, which is a 23-page survey of this entire genre of literature. Don't stress too much. I have provided you a PDF, so you don't need the hard copy book yet. I'm giving you guys a lift as we get started this quarter, but getting that underway really does just set us up for success, because I give you guys the tips sheet, kind of the rubric for these discussions. You get a chance to try it on, to give it a shot, and then that allows me to come in with comments and say, yes, do that, green light, yellow light, can you revise and switch this up? And the earlier that we do that work, the more ease you're going to have with knowing what the expectations are for the coming levels and quests. So that's really the week ahead. What else? Yes, of course, deadlines, due dates. They say they're by midnight. what if I don't make it? What if my timestamp is late? I'm fine with that. I always try to lead with, I am flexible. It would be a false science, like I said, to assume that all of you are going to have lives that allow you to submit everything on time to the T every single week for 10 weeks straight. Things are going to happen. Life is going to happen. Someone's going to get sick. You might lose a family member. You might go through an episode of, mental health challenges, or maybe it's just you worked really hard on another project and you really just want another day for this one because you're trying to juggle it and manage it all. I'm flexible. I think that my policies support both you guys having that grace that you need and also me being able to create enough order and organization to tidy things up and get things completed by the finish line. So how does this work? Let me know if you can, if something is running late, or if you're running late, let me know as soon as you can. You do not need to give me doctor's notes. You don't need to give me the details. You can just say, hey, can I have another day on this? If you want to open up to me, you can, but I think it can be really inappropriate and unfair to ask you all to divulge those things to me. You don't need to in order to earn the grace. The grace just exists for you. So communication is key. Just reach out and say, I've got something going on, and the plan. What is your plan? I can get it to you tomorrow. I've got something going on. Would it work for you if I get it to you by Friday? And that way I get a sense of confidence that I don't need to step in because you got it. You got a plan. The only time I step in is when your plan seems like it might actually create another problem that I can foresee. So I'll let you know. The point is, I want to be your partner in accomplishing and succeeding in this class. I don't want to be punitive. And there is also the chance to reboot things, to submit things late in that way. I'm going to explain that now while I talk about grades. Grades can be very distracting when you're trying to learn. It can become really easy for you to want to track exact points and percentages. I shouldn't even say you, me too. It can be really easy for all of us to track exact points and percentages and letter grades, and they're important because they end up on your transcript. But in the midst of a quarter, my hope and my dream for teaching is that students would let some of that go and just enjoy learning and enjoy that feeling of having a curious mind and filling that curious mind with new information, new revelations. It doesn't have to be your favorite class, but I want you to get something out of it that feels rich and less like points and percentages. Yes, I want you to earn the letter grades at the end of the quarter that you want as well. And so this system should allow you to do all of that. Basically what I've done is I've gamified this course. You are completing levels and quests, and the goal is complete as many as you can. Not just do, but complete. You can also earn treasure. So you can complete a level and earn some treasure. You can complete a quest and earn some treasure. At the very end of the quarter, I total up how many levels were completed, how many quests were completed, and how much treasure was earned in order to unlock A's, A minus, B plus, B, etc. The syllabus explains, you need, I think it's 5 levels and 2 quests to earn a C or a D, something like that. But check the grid. The grade book is going to say all of this. It will have decimals. Ignore those. Those are mainly a key. It's like 0.9 something is level completed, and then 1 out of 1 is level completed treasure earned. Points don't matter. They're just the number that I type in to make the gradebook say, you completed a level. Congratulations. And you'll also see things like no attempt. So if you don't turn something in, I track that as no attempt. And that's just kind of a flag to me, to you, to all of us, that there's something missing. Let's try to get that done. Otherwise, you won't be able to total that up at the end of the quarter, and it could impact your letter grade. There's also Reboot available. So if you do a level or a quest, but it doesn't follow the requirements, or you're missing something, or I need a tweak of some kind, I leave you comments. I give you this purple reboot available, and it means that you can revise and reboot that level for credit. So there are all kinds of resources to support you with this grading process. The number one thing I'll say before I get into it a little further is give it a couple of weeks, 2 at least. 3 would probably be best. You're going to feel uncomfortable at first because it's new. But then after that, if you still feel uncomfortable, let me know, because that means there's probably stuff that I can continue to revise and make better in the system. Every time that I've done this for the entire time I've been teaching children's literature, which has been many years now, I get feedback from students and I find new ways to make it stronger, make it more supportive and clear to all of you. So hopefully the work of previous students and myself is going to make this the best system yet for you. Okay, just to finish up on the grades thing, just to make sure you have the information you need. In the syllabus, there's going to be a spot that tells you what are all the things the gradebook might say. Level completed with treasure, reboot available, no attempt, what those things mean. And then below that is like a list, about a page and a half of tips for completing levels and quests and acquiring treasure. It's kind of like your rubric for the entire course. If you go to modules, I've taken that out of the syllabus and put it at the top. Tips for completing levels and quests and acquiring treasure. If you want to like favorite a document, that's the one. If I'm making comments, if I'm assessing your work, it's based on that. It's based on all the criteria and expectations in that document, so that all quarter long we're just practicing the same kinds of skills, just applied to different chapters and different novels we're reading and whatnot. So that's what you need in order to be successful. Also in the syllabus is that grid that tells you how many of what do you need to earn in order to unlock things. Once we get further into the quarter, like around week 7 and 8, I'll start doing some tentative totals and reaching out to you guys and letting you know, like, you're really close to guaranteeing yourself a C. Keep going and you can still earn a B or an A by finishing the final elements of the course. If you have questions, obviously reach out. I think I've said the most important thing a lot, but this one really is the most important thing. I hope you guys have an awesome first week of this quarter. Spring is great. It's such a beautiful time of year, and we get that buzz and energy of graduation upcoming. Remember that the work you're doing here is getting you somewhere. And also, I ask of you, but you don't have to take me up on this, try to find something this quarter from this class that means more to you than just graduation. Some kind of revelation, memory, lesson, or experience that you can pull from this class that actually matters in your life. And only you can figure out what that is. But of course, I'm here to help. So reach out if you guys need me. Remember, you can call me Amber. Nothing fancy. I'll talk to you soon. I look forward to getting to know you in our first discussion board.